So for my tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own board game. This is a really fun activity. Just making it is fun, but I mean, it gives you something to do during quarantine. So what you want to start out with is a piece of cardboard, however big you want. This one's kind of small. A smaller piece of cardboard for the rules. And then I'm using, these are pages from a coloring book for my squares and to decorate the board, but you can just use plain paper, colored paper, whatever you want. It's just however you want your board to look. And then you need something to color or draw with. I'm just using they're colored pencils. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be colorful. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. So that's what you'll need. I also have tape and scissors. You could use glue to glue the stuff together. Just whatever works best for you, whatever you have in your house, because we can't go out and get stuff. So yeah, that's what you need to start. So I like to start with the rules because that determines like what your board will look like and stuff. First you have to think of what you want your game to be about. So mine is going to be like a group of trolls who want to get to the special gem at the end of the forest. So that's kind of what I'm going with, but you can make it whatever you want it to be like. It could be about your favorite TV show, your favorite movie, your family. It could be a trivia game, whatever you want. It's completely up to you. So I start by making the rules because, like I said, that determines what your board will look like. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so for my rules, there's only about 4 of them, but you can have as many as you'd like. So I'm naming mine just the rules, plain and simple, but some people think it's fun to kind of give it a name that goes with the theme of what you've decided you want your game to be. So I'm going to choose a different color for each one just to add some spice to it. So rule number 1 for me is rock, paper, scissors for who goes first. So there's a lot of ways to decide who goes first, but I like rock, paper, scissors because it's really simple. You could also choose like who's oldest, who has the longest hair. You could roll dice if you have dice. So for rule number 2, I decided for this game, I'm going to have people pull cards to see how many squares they move, but you could easily roll the dice, whatever you want. It's completely up to you. My 3rd rule is to follow the instructions on the cards. That's pretty self-explanatory. Within the cards that say how many squares you move, I'm going to have some things to mix up the game, like go back a square, stuff like that. And then for my last rule, just simply whoever gets to the gem first wins the game. And that's that for the rules. So that kind of gives us a rough structure of how to follow the rest of our game. So next I'm gonna cut these papers up right here into squares and place them along the board along the path I want to go through the forest. So now I've cut up the papers into little squares just like this. You can make circles, whatever shape you want. I just went with squares because that's what was easiest for me. And then now you're just gonna take one and just tape it down wherever you want, whatever path you want. And I'll see you once you've done that. So this is what my board looks like after I've taped all of these down. Now I'm going to go ahead and write start here because this is where I want them to start. And then for the end, I'm gonna draw a gem right here, so you know that's where the end is. I'm also gonna draw a few arrows so that you know that this is the path to take, because someone might think that, you know, you could get off here onto the gem. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I might also add some little decorations along the edge that just add to the game because there's all of this blank space and we want it to look as fun and colorful as possible. So this is my finished board. You can see it says start here. I added some arrows just so that whoever's playing knows where to follow. This is the end, the gem right here. And then I just added some flowers, some squigglies, I don't know, to make it look a little bit more fun. So next what we need to do is we have to make our characters still, and we have to make the cards that they'll choose from to see how many spaces they move or whatever instructions we decide to put on the cards. So that's the next step. So for the cards that say how many spaces they move forward, I'm just using loose leaf paper. I didn't want to use the same paper that I used for the spots because it has stuff on it and I want them to be able to read. So now basically you just cut these into the size that you want them to be cut in. Mine are just pretty average. They're a little bit smaller than the spaces so that I can put them somewhere on the board and they'll fit. So you just cut them down like this. And then once I have them all cut like that, you can line them up and then cut them this way so that they're in little squares. And you might end up with extra, you might need to cut more. Either is fine. Just kind of go with the flow. So, for example, on this first one, I take it and whatever color you want, just write however many spaces they can move. And so I wrote 6. So for my game, my board's a little bit smaller, so there's not as many spaces, so I'm gonna limit the amount of like higher numbers. I'll probably keep it between 1 and 4 for the majority of the cards, just so that it slows the game down a little bit. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that and I'll see you when we're done with that. So I'm finished with my cards. They kind of look like this. There's a few of them. And then I put in 3 go back cards. So one says go back 1, one says go back 2, one says go back 3. That's just kind of to mix things up, and I'll mix those into the pile. And then I put 3 cards that say switch with someone. So just whoever pulls that card is going to switch with them. So then I'll just mix these up so that they're not all together. And I'm just going to place them. There's a spot on the board right where that flower is. I'm just going to put them right there because there's a space. And that's where people will draw cards from. And then lastly, we have to make our characters. I'm probably going to make 4 to 5, but you can make as many or as little as you want. They can be with objects that you find just around your house, but I'm going to make little drawings. So I will see you once we're done with that. So I couldn't find thin enough colored pencils to draw the little trolls that I wanted to draw. So instead, I just got tiny pieces of paper and I folded them in half like this so that they're able to stand up on their own. And then I made an orange one, a red one, a blue one, a pink one, and a green one. So that way people will be able to tell theirs apart from the others. And now I'm all set to start playing my game. I hope that this helped you think of ideas for how to create your own game and stuff like that. And I hope the rest of your quarantine goes well.